Here's 3 tips on how to neutralize the insurance adjuster, which I think is important, right? Because for contractors, I feel like we go into these situations with adjusters with one arm tied behind our back because they're always talking about the policy doesn't cover this, the policy doesn't know for that. And as contractors, we can't talk about policy and coverage. That's the one area where that's out of bounds for contractors. So when they respond or when they throw things at us like that, we can't really respond with, well, the policy also says this. So that puts us at an extreme disadvantage, right? But how to neutralize the adjuster, how to get the advantage back on our side and equalize the playing field, right? I think there are 3 tips that I can give for that. Tip number 1, I think that we are out of place with the position that we play on the field, okay? So I think we need to play our position different on the field. What I mean by that is contractors really feel like when they're hired to, fix a roof, they feel like their job is to go out and replace the roof, and when it's involving an insurance claim. And I look at it a little bit different than that. I think that it's real important for contractors to have the frame of mind, the position that they play on the field is such that they are hired as the contractor to perform all repairs that are prescribed by the insurance claim. And I'll add to that for the total approved replacement cost value. So when they look at the marching orders from an adjuster, at an insurance adjuster estimate, the instruction list, if you will, they need to take the position that I'm at least going to have the mindset that this is my job and this is what I have to go and do, okay? And in so doing, they're then going to discover that they literally can't because it's missing line items. And if you take that approach, going to the adjuster like, look, I'm trying to do it your way, but I can't. I'm missing line items. Instead of coming in from the very beginning and trying to jam your estimate down the adjuster's throat. I think we need to take some time, let the adjuster apply the coverage, let's see the marching orders, then respond. So I think we're just a little out of place in how we play that position. Number 2, which I'll tell you, is almost number 1. This is almost number 1 because I think it's one of the most extremely important and critical components of being any insurance restoration contractor. It's crucial, and that's the inspection. The inspection. It's too common for contractors to go into a new client meeting to look at the job for the first time, and they take 5 to 20 minutes. They go in, they take 5 to 10 pictures, and a lot of the pictures are close-up of damage. You can't really tell what's going on from these pictures. In my view, every single job site is like a crime scene that must be investigated, full-on CSI crime scene technician style. Like everything must be dusted for prints. See, when you have that mindset going into a job site, it's much more serious, right? Every room, closet, and hallway needs to be inspected. We're talking about storm damage and wind damage and hail damage. There are going to be leaks inside that building more times than not. I can't tell you how many water spots that I've seen on ceilings on the inside when inspecting every room, closet, and hallway in the building. That's why I do it. And when you do that, it goes a long way towards establishing yourself as the expert. Client sees that you discovered damage that no one else saw, that instantly adds a level of credibility towards your expertise. And that inspection would allow you to collect evidence, documentation, and proof. Those are the 3 most, which really are all the same thing, most critical and important components to getting any claim approved and to get higher approval amounts. You must have the evidence, the documentation, and the proof. You have to be able to justify every single line item on that estimate. The inspection allows you to do that. Why are we passing up this critical and important opportunity? I think every contractor needs to get up into the attic and do a detailed, comprehensive, and thorough attic inspection. If there's a problem with the deck, we can see that before we build most of the time. If we would just at least try. And I find that people don't try hard enough. They don't take enough pride in their craft, in their profession. And this business is one that's so unique. I find myself so fortunate and blessed to find it. So if anybody's watching this and they found this unique industry, you can be in this business with any background. You can come from any walk of life, any culture, any color, any economic or social status, and you can literally make millions. But you can only do that if you take it seriously and you're serious about your trade, about your profession, about your craft. Number 3, okay? And again, I think these are the top 3, so they all really vie for first place. That's the building codes. That's the building codes, okay? What I found is insurance adjusters as a whole, thousands that I've talked to, right? They don't know jack about building codes. They don't know anything about building codes. I ask them, I ask adjusters all the time, when you were studying to get your test, to take your test, was there anything in the studies about building codes? No. Was there anything on the test about building codes? No. Oh, you work for State Farm, Nationwide, USA, all these companies. Was there any training provided by any of those companies about building codes? It's overwhelmingly unanimous, silent. No. That's amazing, especially considering that most policies have what's called ordinance and law, or OL coverage. People think of it as building code upgrade coverage. I consider it building code compliance coverage. And not everybody has this. You need to be careful. If they have a mortgage, they're probably required to have it, but you need to find out and verify the coverage that they do have it. But if they have ordinance and law coverage, then that means that any of the repairs that you're working on, if anything relating to those repairs needs to be brought up to building code, the insurance company has to pay for it. That's critical, but insurance adjusters don't understand building codes at all. So wouldn't it behoove you to know the building codes and use those to your advantage to someone that's uncomfortable in unfamiliar territory? I mean, it's like you present building codes to insurance adjusters and they start glitching out. They don't know how to respond. They're not trained in that area. There's the opening, the weakness in their game. That's the arbitrage, right? That you can pounce on, the building codes. But unfortunately, contractors don't know anything about building codes. It's stunning. It's stunning to me. The clients, the homeowners, they just believe that the adjusters and all the contractors know about building codes, but they don't. They don't know about building codes. Now, what building codes could I use quickly that might get your interest piqued in building codes? Because I missed this as a contractor. I didn't know what I was doing when it comes to building codes. I thought that all the people I had around me knew about building codes. I now realize that they didn't. But to me, it was like looking at a Japanese language, and I don't speak Japanese, so it didn't interest me at all. Well, listen to this. Whenever you're replacing a roof, everything on the roof almost must be replaced. All the vents, all the pipe jacks, all the flashing around all the chimneys, everything must be replaced. Maybe not the power attic fans, but the base does, okay? And that's because there's a building code that says all flashings, edgings, outlets, vents, or other similar devices that are part of the roof assembly shall be replaced where rusted, damaged, or deteriorated. Shall be, okay? Now we know what rust is, we know what deterioration is, and you're thinking, well, it's gonna be damaged during the tear-off. Yes, it will, but it's already damaged now. Why? How is it installed? With nails. It already has holes in it now. That's all of your vents, all of your pipe jacks, all of your chimney flashing, all your skylight flashing, all of your L flashing and sidewall flashing and step flashing and flashing, all of it must be replaced. And you're gonna present that to an insurance adjuster and they're gonna say, but I didn't see any hail damage on the flashing. The code doesn't say anything about hail damage. It doesn't say wind damage. It says damage. We have to back up from the insurance situation. The building codes were not written for insurance situations. The adjuster doesn't understand building codes. That's why he would respond in that manner. And so, again, this is an area that can really neutralize and equalize that playing field, because we can't discuss policy and coverage as contractors, but we very much can discuss building codes. To learn about building codes, okay, you need to look up the International Code Council. And there's quite a bit to that, but I have an entire segment in my training course, my online training course, and you can find that course at iescertified.com. I have an entire segment that I have titled The Code Game, because that, to me, that's what this is. It's a game. It's a game that I take seriously, but I'm extremely passionate about winning that game, the code game. And included is a whole collection of actual building codes that I put together for the most commonly used codes and insurance claims. And they're organized and structured by sets of codes. You may not understand what that means until you take the course and to have an understanding about building codes. But they're actually organized in JPEG images that you can attach to Xactimate, because Xactimate only takes JPEG images for attachments. So they're really organized and ready for you to start using in insurance claims today. To get more information about me or anything that I do, the services that I provide, you can go to insurancerestorationtraining.com. And that's sort of my hub that'll direct you to my live training events, my online training course, one-on-one training, private company training. And this is all brought to you by Certainty. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.